All right. Hey guys, give me a second. I am in the process of setting everything up. Just want to make sure I'm going live here on my TikTok feed as well as my YouTube. Oh, there we go. All right. I see myself. All right. All right. So, I just want to welcome you to this 5 Minute Friday. Just to recap, my goal is to every Friday at noon is to do this 5 minute, 5 minute ish. Like I said, sometimes they'll go 5 minutes, sometimes they'll go over. So, the goal is, to talk about, real estate, mortgage notes, real estate, private money, funding, sourcing deals, and, things like that, going over deals. Here, let me share my screen with you. Let's see if that came up. Yep. Okay. So this was today's presentation is more or less along spurred because I came across this article on Kiplinger on this 240 paychecks, and I thought it was a neat concept, and for retirement. But I just want to go into a little bit more on it, and so let me back up from that. I just once again want to welcome you to In the Know 5 Minute Fridays. Today's topic is going to be 240 paychecks, retire like a bank, not a landlord. I'm going to tie this into mortgage note investing because that's what I do, and I think it's really beneficial for retirement. And then also if you start utilizing this in your retirement strategies. So with that, I am going to go ahead and click on the next slide here. So, and I like to start the PowerPoints off with statistics, and I don't know if you realize that 1 in 12 Americans believe they will never retire. I mean, and that's just mind-boggling to me. And you can go to this harborlifesettlements.com retirement statistics, and they have a lot of other stats on this as well that you can look at. Another stat, nearly 7 in 10 Americans aged between 50 to 74 lack a formal retirement plan, and only 4 in 5 don't know the basics. And to me, and that's one of the other reasons why I want to educate people on the benefits of mortgage notes and buying them within your self-directed IRA. I know I had a previous PowerPoint presentation last Friday that talked about that. And so if you're not planning for retirement, you really should, regardless of your age. It's never too late to start planning. And so these statistics just really drive home this point. And before I really get into what I want to cover, I just want to tell you that I'm not a financial planner or a CPA. This video is for educational purposes only. Please consult a qualified professional for your advice. I always preference everything that I say, that I show, that I do, that you have to talk to your financial planner, your CPA, because your mileage may vary. Everybody has different, the goals and aspirations, the age, what they're doing, what they make. So all of this comes into account. But I think if you start by incorporating just these mortgage notes into your retirement portfolio, it's definitely going to benefit you. So having said all that, for this presentation today, this rule of 240 paychecks, it actually came from this link right here down below, this Kiplinger.com retirement, the rule of 240 paychecks in retirement. I thought it was pretty interesting. It's just like I said, that oftentimes I'll get these notifications and I'll read them, and this one is just really a simple way to plan for retirement. So if you retire at the age of 65 and you live to be 85, right? That's 20 years, 20 times 12 or 240 months of monthly paychecks that you basically need to account for. So you'll need 240 paychecks after you stop working. And unfortunately, most people don't have a plan for that, or they don't really think about that, or they think that Social Security is going to be there for them to make up that difference. In a couple sessions previously, a couple Fridays ago, I went over the financial calculator and Social Security, and how much, like, if you go to Social Security and look at the retirement calculator, there is a large deficit between what you're going to get and what you're making. And you 100% need to start accounting for this when you start retiring, because most people, I was going to say, unfortunately, have to get a part-time job. I mean, there's where you have to get a job because you have to make ends meet, part-time job, or you're just, you're just looking for something to do just to occupy your time. Two different scenarios. So that's why I'm always driving this home and trying to provide these opportunities for you. And one of the best ways for that I see for retirement is having some other passive income coming in. In my particular case, it's mortgage note investing. I started out rehabbing houses. I was up to rehabbing 8 houses a month. And then I eventually got into mortgage notes, and I hadn't looked back. So, and the problem, the next slide here, the problem with traditional retirement plans, 401ks and IRAs depend on the market. You're at the volatility, of the market, the stock market, right? The swings, the ups and the downs. And so withdrawals feel like guesswork. You don't really have monthly income. It really equates to financial stresses. And there's a better way, and in my opinion, I think it's mortgage note investing. You're not buying the property. You actually buy the debt. You become the bank in these particular situations when you're owning these mortgage notes. The borrowers pay you every month. They're secured by real estate, and they should be managed by a third-party servicer. The things that I really love about mortgage notes is I'm buying the debt, I'm becoming the bank, so if they stop paying, my big thing is foreclosure is the very last thing that I want to do, but if they stop paying, I have the legal rights to foreclose on the property, take that property back, and either take it back, keep it as a rental, Airbnb it, just sell it. I have a lot of different exit strategies that I can recoup my money. And like I said, what I really, really, really love about these mortgage notes, it's secured by the real estate. So if they stop paying, I get that property back. So why it works for retirement notes, in my opinion, equal monthly income equals the retirement paychecks. It's passive, no tenants, no toilets, no 2 a.m. calls. Having been a landlord, I had those 2 a.m. calls, and I'll tell you, I absolutely hated it. And it's predictable and scalable income. So you may be wondering, well, that's great. How many note deals do you actually need? So I have a simple example. So, if you need $4,000 a month, and let's just say at $40,000, you're looking at a $40,000 note that's paying a 10% yield, that would equate roughly to about $333, right, a month. And so with that, if you take the 40,000, or I'm sorry, the 4,000, divide that by $333, you'll roughly need between 12 to 15 notes that could fully fund your retirement. And what I also like to, preference by this is by saying this example does not account for taxes or other individual factors. Your results may vary. Always consult with a financial planner before making investment decisions. And if you're using private money, which I do, I either use my self-directed IRA to fund my deals, or I use private money to fund my deals. And in this particular case, if you're using private money, I always just say a rule of thumb is just double the amount of notes that you'll need. So in this particular case, if you're looking to fund $4,000 a month, 12 to 15, if you're using private money, you would need between 15 to 30 notes, and that's 100% doable. And it's just a really great way, to have that passive income coming in for you. So how do you actually get started? You need to learn how to source quality notes. You can use your self-directed IRA or cash. Once again, talking to your financial planner or your CPA, they will help guide you with this on what's going to be best for you. Everybody's situation is different. I use a combination of both self-directed IRA and cash because you need to plan for retirement, but then you also want that passive income coming in to where you can actually pay your bills currently. You need to partner with the servicer, and you need to start small and scale up. So, final thoughts on this: don't retire with hope, retire with a plan, and start stacking your 240 paychecks now with mortgage notes. So, I don't know if anybody has any questions. Please, you can drop them in the chat, or if you found this helpful, tap follow, and I'll break down more strategies next week. Or what you can do here, let me switch back over to this camera here. Or the other thing that you can do is you can go to talkwithlarryhoffman.com. There it is. You can talkwithlarryhoffman.com to schedule like a 30-minute call with me. And, I can go over more of these mortgage notes, or, we can talk a little bit more about retirement and things like that. But I also like to, once again, just preference, I am not a CPA. I am not a financial planner. So this is just what I'm doing in my business. So just take what I give you or anybody else gives you. Just always consult with the legal professional, financial planner, CPA, or even your attorney to make sure it's right for your situation. So I don't see any questions. And if you do have any questions, drop them in the chat, or, you can hit me up with an email, or, direct message me here, or just schedule a time with talkwithlarryhoffman.com, and I will talk to you. All right. See you guys.